Hey guys, well, I want to talk today about the Diddy situation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I am not surprised by these allegations, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a little story that happened about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago, I wanted to go to the US to visit one of my friends who was staying in Miami. This is a friend that I went to school with. It was a male. So when I went to visit him, he talked about us going to the strip club. And mind you, this was my first time ever really knowing anything about strip clubs because I was young and where I'm from, we don't have any strip clubs. Before you guys even come for me, this is before I got saved. I didn't know Christ the way I know Christ now. I agreed to go to the strip club with him. And when I got there, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I was so traumatized. I've never seen so much in my life. I was young. So I went and, we were watching them perform. At some point, I needed to use the restroom. So when I went to the restroom, one of the dancers, her nails were so beautiful. They were blinged out nails with a lot of those crystals on them. Apparently, that was like the new style in that period of time. She told me that she had a lady that did her nails, that me and her can go together if I wanted to. So I said, why not? She was actually very friendly, and me, I don't judge. Whatever you choose to do with your life and your body, that's on you. I agreed to go with her. So she gave me her number. We exchanged numbers. And, this lady, she actually confided in me. She told me that Diddy and Cassie used to book her for threesomes. They would book her through an escort agency. And she said that every time they were in Miami, they would book her. Like she would be the one that they would book for these threesomes. At that point in time, I was wondering, is Cassie maybe bisexual or maybe she liked girls? And, there was a way for her to indulge in what she liked. But now that I'm hearing these allegations, I am not surprised. It actually made me remember this situation. And she said this to me. It just registered after seeing all these rumors. I was like, wait a minute, this girl, like this one dancer, she told me this. And I remembered she said it. He would book her every time they were in Miami. He would book her through an escort agency for threesomes with her. And she specifically called their names. And I don't think she's lying either. You know why? Because that day, that night when I was in that strip club, she actually had a big client, a big musician was there. He had booked out a private section so that her and a few other girls could dance for him. And she told me that he was a regular customer, that person. And she even said that she had a lot of high-end clients that booked her, that would come there and book her privately, her and a few other girls. And on top of that, it was actually a very popular strip club. I don't want to call the name, but it was one of the hottest strip clubs in Miami at that time. She was actually very popular as well. She was actually one of the most sought after dancers in that club. That's what she said to me. And I just want you guys to know that you shouldn't be surprised when people come out and say some of these things about some of these people, because I feel like sometimes we idolize celebrities while forgetting that they're humans just like us. They make mistakes just like us. Some of them can be good and some of them can be bad, but we put them on these pedestals. So when they do something wrong, we just can't believe it, when in actuality, they fall short just like us. They're human, they're flesh, so they'll make mistakes just like us. So when all these Diddy allegations came out, this actually came back to me, and I remembered that she said this to me. And I know some of you guys are gonna come and say, oh, I'm clout chasing, I'm lying, I'm just making things up, when in actuality, I'm not making it up. This is actually something that happened, and this was like 10 years ago. I was so young at the time, but I still remember it. At the time, I didn't think much of it, but now, like, all these things are coming to light. I'm like, oh, wow, I don't know anything about the F-offs with boys or men, but I do know that she did say for her, as a female, they would book her for that. So she didn't go into any more details, and I didn't ask her any more details because what did I really know at that age? I didn't really care about any of those things. But that just goes to say that whatever is done in the dark will definitely come out to light at some point. Now, me and her, we never ended up meeting up again to go and get our nails done. We didn't even speak much after that, and that's been a long time ago, as I previously mentioned to you guys. So I know some of you guys will say, oh, I'm just looking for fame, my few minutes of fame, or whatever the case is. But I also feel like that's another reason a lot of people don't come out and tell their truth, because a lot of times they would actually get bullied for telling their truth. And you know what? People just shut down. So they decide to just keep things to themselves, because what's the point? At the end of the day, if you say or you don't say, you'll still be judged. I think that's the reason why a lot of people just keep quiet. When they see things or hear things, they just don't speak. Not everyone is actually looking for clout, and not everyone is actually just looking for attention. Like sometimes people put out information because it serves as a notice for other people, so that when you hear things about celebrities, you wouldn't be shocked regardless of who the celebrity is, because as I said, they're humans and they can make mistakes just like me and you. I also wanted to add that the entertainment industry is not always the nicest place. And everyone isn't going to be honest, everyone isn't going to be nice, everyone isn't going to be sweet towards you. I'm going to share 2 experiences with you guys. So I remember one time I was booked for a movie. I did a little bit of acting, by the way. So I was booked for a movie by a producer in the UK. Because of the whole COVID situation, we couldn't shoot in the UK, so he was looking for other alternatives. So he agreed that we would go to Tanzania and shoot because it was COVID free. So mind you, we all flew to Tanzania to shoot this movie. I remember clearly one day while I was on set, we were filming a birthday party scene, and there was this famous musician. He's from Tanzania. He's actually one of the biggest musicians in Tanzania. We were filming this scene and he was around. So he sent one of the managers to tell me that he liked me and to request for my number. And I told her no, that I wasn't interested. She literally tried to force me to give him my number, like, please just try to talk to him. And in my mind, I was like, I don't want to give him my number because I already know what is involved in the music industry. And I already know like how the people are in the music industry. Obviously, it's not nice to put everyone in one box, but I already know like a lot of the musicians, they're just looking for a one-night stand, or they're just looking for fun, because they see a lot of women all the time. So I'd already put in my mind that I didn't want to give him my number because I had already had my perception of how, people, a lot of these men in the entertainment industry, in the music industry behave. I said no. She begged me so many times and I still said no. So when we were done filming, the producer, he wanted to have like a little get together at one of the main actors' hotels. It wasn't supposed to be like a hotel room thing. It was just by the poolside where everyone would be chilling. And it was a bunch of us, like half of the cast and also some of the production team. Anyway, we get there and, lo and behold, the popular musician that I mentioned was there. And, me and him, we had a conversation. He came up to me and he started talking and he seemed quite nice. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I misjudged him. Maybe he's actually a nice person and I'm just, being too careful. One of the main actors who was also flown in from the UK literally tried to, keep the conversation going between the guy and I. Anyway, we're there talking and he literally insisted that we go and walk on the beach. The main actor, not the musician. He basically insisted that we go and walk on the beach, to get some alone time away from everybody. I was very hesitant, and eventually, after him insisting, I went, but I agreed that, okay, I'll go, but, I will not go far because I didn't want to walk too far on the beach in the night with someone that I didn't even know. So we were walking, we were talking. We actually sat in the sand at some point because I didn't want to walk any further. And the conversation was going nice. He was telling me that he wanted to take me out to eat and just show me the town. So I was like, why not? I'm new here. I would like to see what it's like here. I would really like to experience the country from, a local's perspective. I was like, this guy, he's actually very nice. I made a mistake when I judged him. Can you imagine this gentleman, this man, he literally took his hand and put it around me, like around my neck, and then he literally touched my chest. In my mind, I'm like, isn't that SA. I don't even want to say the words on like video, but I took his hand and I pushed it away from me and I walked off. And I actually went and told the main actor and the producer what happened, and they acted so nonchalant about it. And I even forgot to mention that before we went for this walk, when I had arrived, they literally, like, the producer was trying to get me to drink. Even the actor, the main actor, was trying to get me to drink and to smoke. I don't smoke and I barely drink. So he's trying to, like, get me to drink, like, insisting. And I was like, why is this man insisting for me to drink? I don't want to drink and I don't smoke. Why are you forcing these things on me? So it seemed as though he wanted me to get intoxicated and he wanted me to, I guess, get high so that I can, just do something, I don't know, like let loose. But I refused to even drink or smoke. I tried to tell them what happened and they acted nonchalant about it. Little did I know, guys, that this man, he already had his plans. He basically wanted this musician to be in his movie for free. So he was kind of using me as a bait, like basically pimping me out. That's what he was trying to do. And I was like, can you imagine? This is so disgusting. He should feel ashamed of himself. Like, is this what you're doing? I called a cab and I left. I was so angry. And before I left, like, they all were trying to, like, give me ultimatums, like, oh, if you leave, this would kind of jeopardize the movie, like trying to manipulate me. I left because I was like, I was very disgusted. I was like, can you imagine? This isn't even Hollywood. This goes to show you that this happens everywhere in the world. Like, it's not just Hollywood. It's not only in Hollywood that you see these type of things, that you see where men try to, not even men, but predators. You see a lot of predators. So I left and I didn't really bring it up again because I didn't want to rock the boat. And funny enough, that big musician that I'm talking about, he literally felt offended that I wanted to leave, that I didn't want to stay, as if, he's so important that I should be honored to stay. I left. I was actually disgusted by the whole thing and just that whole production. Funny enough, the production didn't even end well. I ended up having issues with them and a lot of things on that set did not go the right way as well. Like, it was just a big mess. I was not happy with that production. If I knew that, basically, like, this is the type of nonsense that they were trying to do, I would have never agreed, because I even signed a contract and everything, but it just didn't go well. Also, another story that happened to me in Nigeria. So I was also booked for a movie. One night while I was home, while I was in the hotel room relaxing, the producer, he sent me a message and he was like, oh, I have big plans for you. You should come to my room. I did not respond. I literally pretended that I was asleep. I answered him the next day and I said, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Then I noticed the second day, he sent me a similar message to come to his room in the night, like around 11 or 12. It was actually very late when he sent this message. So in my mind, I'm like, come to your room to do exactly what? So I never went and I didn't reply. I replied the next day like I did the day before. And when he saw me on set, I noticed he was acting a little bit funny, like treating me a little bit distant and stuff, because he probably noticed that, okay, she's not going to give me what I want, so who cares? So it just goes to show you that the industry can be very messed up and you have to have a strong head. You have to know like your worth and your values, because if you don't, you literally would end up in the wrong hands or end up doing something that you would not be happy about. And me, I didn't want to compromise. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like these experiences actually made me feel a bit traumatized, which kind of pushed me away from the entertainment industry for a while. For a long time, I didn't want to continue on that pursuit of acting because I felt like, these things happened to me twice and I didn't want to keep repeating the same thing. I kind of took a break from the industry so that I can really think about what I really wanted to do and if I really wanted to be acting, because I didn't feel right and I didn't feel comfortable. Mind you, some people do compromise and they do end up doing things for roles and for opportunities, but I just feel like whatever you start, if you start on that trajectory, you have to continue on it. And whatever you start, you need to finish. So me, I don't want to start something that I cannot finish. Well, I just want to close this video by saying that you shouldn't be surprised when people come out and tell their stories. A lot of these things do happen. Hollywood is not the nicest place, and the industry in general is not the nicest place. A lot of people do end up doing things that they are not happy about just to get certain positions. And some people do come out and tell their stories while some don't. I also want to add that a lot of people don't speak as well because they don't want to be blackballed. Sometimes you may end up telling your story and then the message goes out, and a lot of them wouldn't want to book you for anything because they'll be thinking, okay, this girl or this guy, they're trouble, they're just gonna go and blab. Some people, they don't end up speaking because of that reason. A lot of people just want to avoid rocking the boat because it can affect your career. A lot of people have been victims of it. Sad to say, they don't come out because of the stigma, because people judge you, people think you're just clout chasing, people will think that you're just being dramatic. So some people just bottle it in and they just go through life with their trauma, and it shows in other ways. Not everyone has the strength to come out and tell their story and say, you know what, like, I was a victim of this happened to me. Yes, I can attest to this. But me personally, as I said, I can attest to it. I think these things do happen, and you just have to be strong-headed and say no sometimes, even if it causes you the job. And also, your story can help someone, because if people actually do come out and say, look, these things are happening, it would actually scare some of these people who are doing these things. Maybe even if it doesn't scare them, but it will put them on alert so that they know, okay, let me be careful. But the fact that they're not being held accountable, I think that's why a lot of them feel confident doing these things. So people need to come out, tell your story, even if people laugh at you, or if people judge you, or if people think you're just seeking attention, when it's not even like that. Tell your story, because your story can save someone else. And one story makes a big difference. That's why a lot of these people are literally like being called out, because people are coming out and they're being held accountable. So we need to keep holding people accountable for all these things that they do, all these, like rubbish things, because I feel like everyone has the right to turn people down, and you have the right to say no. No one should force you into something that you don't want to do. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in another one of my videos. Love you guys.